Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for coming. We are being filmed, but it's lovely to have a live audience, real people in front of us, rather than just do it through the medium of a screen. My name is Martin Blackwell. I'm Head of Operations at the Business Improvement District in Norwich. This project, the Norwich Business Support Hub, is part of a Community Renewal Fund project that we're running in Norwich through for the next 6 months. So we're inviting businesses to come in here, talk to our colleagues, get advice and support and direction to help establish or build businesses. But alongside that, there's a whole upskilling and training program. Free training for SMEs in Norwich. And free is an important word because a lot of people can't afford to get the skills they need. So making it free and highly accessible was really important. So there are 3 elements to that training. One is around leisure and hospitality, and we've absolutely been overwhelmed by businesses coming forward to access that free training, because it's one of those areas where it has suffered greatly over the last couple of years, and there's been a huge change in staff, a huge turnover of staff. So giving that training with things like allergens, conflict management, customer service, employment law, first aid, anything you can think of is covered under that leisure and hospitality training. Alongside that, we're doing training for digital skills and media training. So there's different levels to this. We're using an academic from the University of Oxford to run a fairly intense course if you want to build a digital skills strategy for your business. But that's not for everybody. But in here, there are also going to be some drop-in sessions for a couple of hours where you can come and learn about how to make your website as successful as it can be, or even build one from scratch. But also an interesting course on the use of imagery in social media. And I think the underlying message with that one is nobody reads anything anymore, they just want to look at the pictures. That might be a bit of an exaggeration, but imagery is really, really important. So just running a couple of hour course on that. So if you're interested in any of those, go to the Onwards Norfolk website, and it's Norfolk because this program is being run in King's Lynn, Great Yarmouth, as well as Norwich. So it's the 3 bids working together for the first time. So that's interesting in itself. And the third element to this is, of course, around sustainability, which is why we're including at least one sustainability speaker in each of the series of talks that we're putting together. So we're helping businesses to become net zero waste champions. So if your business wants to get on the road towards net zero, we're specifically looking at waste first. We've got some advisors, and one of them's in the room actually, that can help you and support you and help you put together an action plan to get to net zero waste. And I stress, it's all free. So that's the background to this project. So I'll now hand over to Lucy, who's going to introduce our speaker.
Thank you so much, Martin. Thank you. Hi, and I run the Norfolk Network. We're a business organisation, membership organisation for founders and directors of startups and growing businesses. And we have this common purpose of coming together to build, to learn, to progress in business by sharing our knowledge and having discussions around some very interesting hot topics in business. And also, we have a very special relationship with the UEA. Thank you, there's some people here from the UEA here today. They're our key sponsor, and we're very keen to get academics and students and postgrad students involved in the Norfolk Network. So I'm very busy every day discovering some very interesting people that I think will get involved in Norfolk Network. Also championing members and building those trusted relationships, so informed introductions that I make. But also I offer various different platforms for our members to talk and to share knowledge. And this is one of our new platforms, and it's so exciting to be working with Norwich Brid. They're a very forward-thinking, progressive organisation who are really passionate about the vibrancy of the city. And so we're excited because we've been able to platform some of our members and other people, visionaries in business who can sort of share their stories. I think the 20-minute talk, the 20-minute slot is quite good. As one of our speakers said, it's an opportunity to talk about whatever you want, but also to share something that you're actually passionate about. And I think we've had that up every time, and I think we're going to see that today with Antony. Turning now to introducing Antony. Hi, Antony. I think we've known each other for over a decade, actually, and Antony's played a very important role and very involved in Norfolk Network. I see him as a very visionary leader, and I know that he's had some global executive roles. But he took the helm, excuse the pun, of Broom Boats at the beginning of 2020, which is an incredibly challenging time, obviously, for us. And I think it was an opportunity for him to sort of reimagine, what the future of one of Norfolk's oldest boatyards. So I had a visit to Broom Boat last October. A very beautiful sort of autumn day, wasn't it? I took the train from Norwich, and in 10 minutes I was literally in front of Broom Boats, which was amazing. And you gave me a very, very warm and welcome and showed me around with a lot of pride and vision about the future of Broom Boats. And I know that you have sustainability and environment and people and community at the heart of what you do. I was so impressed and excited by the fact that you're going to reconnect the community, bring in sort of Broom Village in to enjoy the marina. So I'm going to hand you over now to Antony to share his Broom Green10. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. The little pamphlet on your seat you can kind of refer to, but it's basically, I'm talking about Broom Green10, our sustainability journey, and it really started, as Lucy said, when I started at Broom in 2020. So I'm not a boat person, I'm not a marina person, so it was all new to me. My background is automotive, and really that gave me the opportunity, kind of fresh pair of eyes. And I had to develop the strategy from January, and then COVID hit in March, so kind of things really quite quickly changed. But one thing that struck me, and you can see on the picture as it circles around, or on this picture here, we live, as in Broom, we live in a beautiful place in the country. Brundall, we live right on the River Yare, and so we have access directly there. And when I was doing the strategy, creating that strategy for the future of the business, it struck me that actually the overarching element of that is the environment. All of the different aspects that we have in the business, and we have private moorings, we have holiday, so luxury cruising boats, and we have engineering, servicing, restoration, repairs, so kind of historic skills within that. So that's our business. Anything happens to the environment that we live in, then our business is then dramatically affected. Boats won't come for repair, people won't come on holiday. So in terms of that being the overarching element, it had to be. So everything that we do today is focused around the environment, and we think about the environment in what we do. And so that led on to the fact of where are we? What are we doing? Where do we measure in terms of this kind of net zero journey, if you like? And through Norfolk Network, the opportunity came about with triple bottom line accounting, where we could just analyse ourselves and have a marker. And one of the aspects that I want to bring into the business and actually into the sector that we work in is that we don't have competition. We ought to be all working together, and especially where we live in Norfolk and then the Norfolk Broads. The more that we can work together, the more that we can draw people into the county to enjoy all of the county. So taking that along with us in terms of the sustainability, I wanted to measure how we were doing currently, and then I wanted to be transparent with that. So the plan will be that we will publish our results on an ongoing basis on our website, so people can kind of evaluate what we're doing and how we're doing it. So actually we went through that process, And again, how do we do that? Do we do that from a top level management point of view, and we assess, and then we take that journey? And we're a small team in Brundall. We probably have less than 30 people working for us. Many of those are actually young apprentices who have joined us more recently. So that's a key factor as well. So we actually reached out to the staff, so right the way through from people who have worked there for a number of years through to the apprentices who've just joined us. And it's amazing actually how different views and actually knowledge, the knowledge that people have within the business. So the young apprentices actually were bringing in totally different viewpoints to the business, which we could kind of harness. And so we met together as a group, and we went through the analysis of how we were performing. So car journeys, the diesel that we use on the site, the waste that we recycle and everything else. And what people found in that was that they all of a sudden had a place within the business where they understood their actions and what actions they did and what we could do as a business. But strikingly, after the meeting, they valued the fact that they then took that home, and they could analyse what they did at home, and they could talk to their family and friends. So it's amazing how this thing is just migrating out from what we've done. That led on to so we're there. We've analysed where we are as a business, and actually in what we do there, it was quite a good result. We were pretty okay, but a good starting point. But then I suddenly thought, okay, so what actions could we take going forward from here? And one problem that you can face is, and especially a business like Broom, we've been around since 1898. We have diesel hire fleet boats, quite large ones, going around the river. And any action that we might say that we take, we open ourselves up for quite severe criticism. And so you can have a situation where you then are stunted and you try not to do anything because you don't want that criticism. But we wanted to take a view, and I took a view of saying, well, no, actually, we're going to decide some actions that we'd have, some aims that we'll have. And if anyone wanted to have comment or criticise them, then what we'll do is we'll just learn from that, and we will respond, and we'll respond honestly. So I came up with the Broom Green10, so 10 aims of the business that we as a business, so me and all of the staff, could actually understand and work towards. It's difficult to actually put timescales onto some of these aims, but we thought they were important to have a target. So within what we want to do, there's some challenges. So we have an old site where we're located. It's been around since 1898. We used to build boats, and we don't build boats any longer since 2018. So there's lots of buildings that aren't very energy efficient. They're not very used very well. And so we have to transition ourselves as a business into the future with all of these challenges that we've got. But if we are able to move along, and we actually need the support of organisations like Norfolk County Council, Broads Authority, Planning, etc. We need organisations to come along with and help us change. But if we're able to do these things, then as we redevelop the site, then we're looking to incorporate solar into the site. We have some big roof spaces that we can already use. We could create roof spaces to cover boats as they are moored up, and so we can create some energy there. We can deploy some wind generators within the site, so small little wind generators. Again, just pockets of energy coming about. As we create new buildings, then we're talking to people who do ground and air source pumps that can power the buildings. But interestingly and exciting for me is the water source pumps. And one of the developments that we'd like to bring into our business is on the holiday side. So we have luxury boats that go out, we have electric day boats now that go out, but I'd like to actually incorporate water lodges, so lodges that float on the water. People go to forests to have these kind of lodges, and I'd like to offer them on the water. And in doing so, you have your hot water, and actually in the summer you have cooling. People want to be cool on the lodges. And these little 20 kilowatt water source pumps can sit within the water lodge underneath and generate all of the hot water and then all of the cooling in the summer for that unit. So the place where that is living and the environment is actually giving you the energy you need to actually have your holiday, which I think is quite beautiful and exciting. There's other things that we want to do in terms of recycling the water that we wash boats down with, and also, as we redevelop, improve the biodiversity into the site, which is important. So it's hard to do with an old site. With a new site, we can talk about nesting, we can talk about grasses that come in, and in that way, we used to build boats, we repair boats, we sell holidays. We don't know about the environment. So immediately, as part of this sustainability, I reached out to organisations like Natural England and the environment aspect of the Broads Authority, experts who can come in and guide us in what we need to do. As part of the triple bottom line accounting analysis of what we did, obviously the energy use that we use, and especially at the moment with these historic buildings, was really important. So as part of that, we collaborate with another organisation who sources our energy for us. And progressively, as our contracts change, we're changing over to EDF green energy. And so as they all change through this year, we'll be on green energy completely through the whole site. We've got 24 luxury hire fleet boats. As that cycles around, you can kind of see the style of the boat that we have. That's kind of a mid-sized one really for us. We have bigger ones as well as smaller ones. And they run on diesel, and they have done traditionally. When I started, we made the change from regular red diesel to Shell GTL, so it's very much more better for the environment. There's less noxious gases that come from that. So it's a good step, but it's not the final answer. Progressively through this winter, we took one of our largest boats, and we've been trialling a new electric engine for that boat. Luckily, I went out on one just at the end of that trial period, one of our larger boats, and it was beautiful. It's a large boat, completely quiet, sailing around Surlingham Broad, and so we knew that this was really possible. And actually what we'll do is we'll take that design of engine, and we'll actually start incorporating it into this size of boat. So we've got about 11 of those sizes of boats. It's pretty costly, so we can't do it immediately. It'll take us some years to kind of progressively go through through our fleet. But it's an aim that we want to achieve, and progressively we will do it. Again, it might be criticism for not doing it quickly, but the cost is kind of prohibitive for that. And people coming on holiday to us, and this is quite interesting, my experience being in automotive has seen the transition to electric vehicles and taking this amount of time, and I think we can all appreciate how that journey has been. And when I equate it over to the marine industry, I actually see the same sort of journey, but actually it's happening a little bit quicker because we've learnt the lessons from automotive. What will make that even faster will be some kind of levy that might restrict the use of diesel on the river. There are some quite astonishing negative figures for the damage, if you like, to our rivers, the pollution on our rivers, that I think more and more people are becoming aware of, which is quite important. Again, for us, it's a real threat to our business and something that we have to be mindful to. And so is the fact that people's ideas of their holidays are changing. I want to be carbon offsetting my holiday. I don't want to have an impact really on the planet. I want to still have a holiday, but I want to do it in a sustainable way. So how do we react to that as a business? So I've looked at looking at with our partner for our energy and saying what is the carbon aspect of our holidays and putting a value to that. And then working with our accountants to be an independent analysis of that and saying, okay, that's the value and it goes into this account. So you ring-fence this value. And then working with people like Natural England and Broads Authority Environmental to say, look, if there are natural projects, environmental projects within the area that needs funding, could we then apportion some of this funding to those local projects? Rather than actually feeding money up to a global kind of carbon offset fund that we might see some improvements, around the world, we could actually look at it more locally and we could talk about it in a local way. That's great for our customers, it's great for our staff, and great for the local community as well. So we're trying to flesh that fleshed all of that out. Along with that concern about carbon offsetting the holiday, how do we bring people to our site in a sustainable way, and trying to reach out to organisations like Greater Anglia to say how can we partner to really encourage people from London, from Midlands, etc., to use transport like trains to come to our site. We're very lucky. The train station is about a minute away from our front door, so we are really uniquely placed to offer that. And once they're there, we want them to travel around the county to enjoy other leisure spots more sustainably. So we're looking to say, well, do we have electric mopeds, electric cars on site? We already have our Broom bikes, so little fold-up bikes that we can offer onto our boats. So they fold up and go in the hold, and then people can also rent them from our site to go around the local community as well. One of the, as I say, the start figures that you get in terms of water quality is quite concerning, and linking several things really. So my background is automotive, and it was sensors within automotive, so it was safety critical airbag applications in that way. So I have a passion for sensors, I have a passion for Norfolk Network, and a passion for Norfolk and Norwich as well, and then actually bring all those together. And out of Norfolk Network, the introduction to water and Glyn Cotton came about. And so that spark between, okay, sensors, you've got sensors, what can we do with this? And so I suddenly thought, well, how can I use Glenn's water monitoring sensors in a sustainable way for our business? Could I put them within the marine? Absolutely. But actually, could I go further than that? So we've had discussions, and then we're quite a long way down the line now of actually incorporating the water monitoring sensors onto our fleet of boats. So we've gone out to try and get some funding to make this happen. We did well. We came second. I think they loved the idea. They especially loved the concept of the boat, because we have our customers, we have our families, we have young people on the boats, and getting that educational message across in everything that Broom does and everything that water does is so important to us, that we then take it to the next extreme and actually create citizen scientists as part of our offering on the boat. So little kits that the customers would have, the young kids can dip the water, analyse the water, take a picture, upload it, and so they're part of this analysis that's going on within our river network. And the boats themselves, the vision is that we'd be able to measure what goes on the Southern Broad network, is where we operate. So in a live perspective, we could start to see the quality of the water. I think from a general public point of view, we've kind of wanted it, we're kind of concerned about that, we want to know, we kind of want to do some wild swimming, but where's the information to tell us that we can? And if there is any information out there, it's probably pretty location specific. Whereas what we're talking about is actually having this map that you can look at, because these boats, our boats, through the period of certainly March to October, November, are just randomly going around this river network, and we can bring this picture together. So that's really very exciting for what we want to do. And as Lucy said, the aspect of community is probably the last aspect to cover now. But as we redevelop the site, we've been there since 1898. We're quite a key feature of Brundall, and the people within Brundall and the surrounding villages are really important. It's quite incredible, and we're finding that now. We've just acquired the pub very locally to us. We're now renovating that pub, and probably every day everyone comes by and says, can I come in? Can I have a pint? It's like, no, we're not open yet. But they want to come. But actually also, some of the people you wouldn't believe come down there and they have no idea. The river is just beyond the pub. And it's been there all the time. So getting that education is important, but also getting people out to enjoy the river is important. Actually, when I started there, it's fairly, don't come here, stop, you can't come in. And that's probably some of the reason why they didn't realise the river was there. But actually, I've changed it. I want to encourage those people to come down and the local village desperately wants that access to the river. It's absolutely known that the well-being qualities of getting out on the river, being by the river, are so important. And part of our whole redevelopment is to offer a free stay, so the canoes and the boats can be put in. We're renovating the pub so you can sit outside directly by the quay heading. We've got our electric day boats, so we had 2 last year, which is a bit of a gamble. Everyone, sort of saying, well, no one will come here. They go to Wroxham, they never come to Brundall. And as soon as we got them all the way through the year, they were fully booked, which is quite incredible. So we brought another 4, and they'll be deployed this year. So we'll have 6 in total, going out from close to where the pub is as well. So we can offer that. So it's just trying to bring all of the community in, and what we will consistently do is to educate everyone who comes in all aspects of what we're doing in terms of sustainability. Because again, along this journey, even though we're very young in this and we're learning all the time, so by no means am I any kind of expert, but we've tried to do things in an open and transparent way, and we've seen how interested people are. So if we can educate people for the taking care of the environment, then it's wholly important. The other things that we're working on with water, which is absolutely fantastic, is these tablets. Every one of our boats will have one of these tablets on. It becomes the brain of the boat. Glyn has created our own app, so we've got information on here that talks of safety on the Broads. It links to our website, our shop on there as well, so people can buy hampers for their journeys, etc. We've got a navigation map where you can say where you want to go, and it'll take you there. So the other thing that this does is that it will provide us the means of getting the education out. So the water monitoring will be done through this tablet, but also it's opened up to organisations that want to publicise information and get it out and educate all kinds of generations who come out onto the water. Thank you.
Fantastic.